Radiant starlight surged through the vast crystalline expanse as Captain Arya Nova's heart pounded with the fury of an imminent storm. In that fleeting moment, the cold gleam of distant nebulae mirrored her burning resolve, a defiant promise to shield a fragile Earth from the encroaching chaos. Every pulse echoed with ancient memories and unspoken vows, propelling her headlong into a destiny fraught with peril and hope. High above a recovering Earth, the Galactic Council's orbital headquarters floated like a celestial citadel, a shimmering labyrinth of translucent corridors and towering crystalline spires. Here, light danced off surfaces engineered with alien precision, reflecting whispers of a long-forgotten era and the promise of future conquests. The very air vibrated with the hum of advanced technology, intermingled with the silent echoes of cosmic secrets. In this hallowed space, every ray of luminescence felt like a memory, every shadow a prelude to the coming storm. Within a private chamber overlooking the endless void, Captain Arya Nova stood alone, her eyes fixed on the distant blue sphere of Earth. The weight of responsibility was etched deeply on her face, a blend of steely determination and an almost palpable grief. As a decorated commander of the Earth Defense Fleet, she had seen both the splendor and the fragility of human existence. Tonight, the stellar panorama outside was a constant reminder of what she fought for: the survival of a home teetering on the edge of chaos, a sanctuary amidst the infinite and indifferent cosmos. Nova's mind raced with memories of past battles and the sacrifices that had led her to this moment. The brilliant hues of nebulae and the silent drift of asteroid fields were not mere backdrops. They were living symbols of a universe in flux, a realm where ancient forces and modern technology coexisted in a delicate dance. Every detail of her surroundings, from the soft, reverberating tones of the Council's communication arrays to the tactile coolness of crystalline walls beneath her fingertips, served as a stark reminder that the peace she yearned to protect was fragile, and every heartbeat counted in the looming conflict. In the stillness of that moment, as the station's vast observation deck revealed the majestic splendor of distant galaxies, Captain Nova vowed to confront the darkness gathering beyond the horizon. The serenity of the luminous dawn belied the turbulent forces at work, and as she steeled herself for the challenges ahead, the crystalline corridors seemed to pulse in rhythm with her resolve, a beacon of hope amid the encroaching void. Deep within the heart of the orbital headquarters, the Galactic Council convened in a vast circular chamber bathed in soft ambient luminescence. The chamber's walls, etched with intricate constellations of holographic star maps, seemed to whisper the secrets of millennia, serving as a constant reminder of the galaxy's storied past and the fragile present teetering on the edge of chaos. Here, among sleek, ultra-modern consoles and ethereal displays of interstellar data, seasoned diplomats and hardened military strategists gathered to deliberate the future of not just Earth, but the entire cosmic order. At the center of the storm of debate stood Captain Arya Nova, her presence as resolute as ever despite the mounting tension. Seated among council members whose expressions ranged from grim determination to veiled trepidation, she felt the weight of centuries and the burden of expectations pressing down on her shoulders. Every flicker of the holographic screens, and every murmur of urgent conversation resonated with a sense of impending upheaval, as if the very air was charged with the energy of a revolution about to be ignited. The council's discussion was a symphony of dissent and cautious optimism. Elder statesmen, their voices laced with wisdom and regret, recounted the scars left by past conflicts, battles that had ravaged entire systems and left indelible marks on the cosmic tapestry. In stark contrast, younger delegates, their eyes alight with fervor and ambition, argued for radical measures to prevent history from repeating its darkest chapters. The debate swirled around the current state of Earth, a planet striving to rise from the ashes of its own tumultuous history. Neon-lit metropolises, once symbols of humanity's boundless ingenuity, now shimmered under a veneer of vulnerability, scarred by environmental degradation and the echoes of forgotten wars. Amid the heated exchanges, Arya's thoughts drifted to the countless nights spent gazing at Earth's blue brilliance from the observation deck. Memories of past missions, each a tapestry woven with moments of triumph, despair and quiet sacrifice, flooded her mind. The gentle hum of the Council's communication arrays, the soft murmur of voices layered with the cadence of hope and anxiety, all conspired to remind her of the enormity of the task ahead. The debate was not merely one of strategy and power, it was an existential struggle for identity, legacy, and the very soul of humanity. A distinguished counselor, his face etched with the lines of endless deliberation, rose to speak. "We stand at a precipice." His voice reverberated through the chamber, each syllable weighted with the gravity of history. "Our actions in the coming days will determine if Earth remains a beacon of hope or falls into the abyss of forgotten dreams." His words, laced with both admonition and inspiration, reverberated within Arya's core, intensifying her inner resolve even as doubts nagged at the edges of her mind. Yet, behind the polished veneer of diplomatic poise, political undercurrents surged. Whispers of alliances forged in secrecy and betrayals, lurking in the shadows, underscored the precarious balance of power. As rival factions jockeyed for influence, subtle glances and coded phrases revealed alliances that might not withstand the crucible of conflict. Arya's keen eyes caught these nuances, a fleeting exchange between two council members, a tightened grip on a ceremonial scepter, and each detail added to the tapestry of uncertainty that enveloped the room. In a quiet corner of the chamber, far from the central clamor, Captain Nova sought a moment of solitude. Leaning against a smooth, cool wall etched with ancient glyphs symbolizing unity and sacrifice, she allowed herself a brief respite from the relentless tide of debate. The silence offered no solace, however, only amplifying the echo of her inner turmoil. Her mind was a battlefield where strategic plans clashed with personal memories, where the relentless drive to protect Earth warred with the haunting specter of past losses. Her thoughts turned to the people waiting for her, a mosaic of diverse faces and unyielding hope. Every decision made within these hallowed walls would ripple across countless lives, transcending the sterile confines of interstellar politics. The soft glow of the ambient lights, coupled with the distant hum of the Council's machinery, reminded her that even amid uncertainty, there was a constant, the indomitable spirit of humanity, striving to shine against the void. As the debate reached a crescendo, the council chamber pulsed with a raw intensity. Plans were debated, alliances questioned, and the vision of a unified future was passionately championed by some, while others clung to the remnants of old dogmas. In this maelstrom of ideological conflict, Arya Nova stood as both a warrior and a beacon of hope, a solitary figure embodying the promise of renewal amid the encroaching darkness. The shadows that loomed over the horizon were not merely the absence of light, but harbingers of change, a reminder that every epoch of history is marked by the collision of past and future, chaos and order. In that pivotal moment, as the council members cast their votes and set plans in motion, Captain Nova's heart pulsed with a resolute determination. She knew that the decisions made within these walls would sculpt the destiny of Earth and echo throughout the cosmos. In the interplay of light and shadow, of hope and despair, the seeds of the coming conflict were sown, a conflict that would challenge the very fabric of the galaxy, and demand every ounce of courage and sacrifice from those willing to stand against the tide of destiny. A sudden, piercing alarm shattered the fragile calm of the Galactic Council chamber. Holographic panels flickered violently, bathing the room in urgent staccato bursts of red and white light. In an instant, the murmurs of debate turned into a cacophony of alarmed voices as a central alert splashed across every display. An unprecedented incursion had been detected at the fringes of the solar system. Council members, previously absorbed in strategic discourse, exchanged stunned glances, their faces drained of composure. A high-ranking official, his voice trembling with barely contained panic, cried out, "We have an invasion. The Xerian Armada, General Vrax's forces are breaching our borders." The declaration sent ripples of shock throughout the room, each word igniting a surge of adrenaline that turned disbelief into action. Captain Arya Nova, standing at the periphery of the chaos, felt her pulse surge in tandem with the frantic alarms. In that electric moment, the cold precision of advanced technology gave way to raw human urgency. The rhythmic beeping of the station's emergency systems resonated like the heartbeat of a war drum, urging immediate response. As data streams cascaded down the primary screen, coordinates, trajectories, and potential impact zones, Nova's mind whirled into tactical focus. She recalled every training simulation, every battle fought in the vast darkness of space, knowing that the weight of Earth's survival now rested on her shoulders. Through the pandemonium, rapid-fire dialogue erupted among the council members. "Mobilize the fleet now," a commander demanded, his voice rising above the fray. "Secure communication lines, and prepare for immediate countermeasures," another insisted. The chamber's normally measured cadence was replaced by urgent, clipped instructions and impassioned appeals. Amid the clamor, Arya's resolve solidified. The serene determination that had defined her earlier moments now ignited into a blazing beacon of leadership. In a secluded corridor adjoining the council chamber, Nova was summoned to the command deck, a nexus of futuristic interfaces and real-time battle analytics. Here, holographic projections of Earth and its surrounding void pulsated with raw data, painting a vivid picture of encroaching danger. With each calculated glance at the rapidly updating maps, she absorbed the grim reality. General Vrax's dark silhouette was advancing, and the threat was imminent. A trusted aide approached, delivering a concise yet weighty message. "Captain Nova, the order is clear. Earth is in peril. You are to lead our defensive forces into the breach immediately. Our ships are ready, but we must act now." The words, succinct and unyielding, echoed in Nova's ears. She felt the cold, metallic taste of determination mixed with a hint of trepidation. Every second mattered. The lives of millions, the future of the galaxy depended on the swift, decisive action of one woman. As she strode toward the command deck, the station's corridors pulsed with the urgency of impending conflict. The luminous corridors, once symbols of hope and unity, now mirrored the tumult of battle with every reflected beam. Arya Nova's mind was a tempest of strategy and resolve, her every thought a calculated measure to stave off the impending invasion. The haunting specter of General Vrax loomed in her thoughts, a relentless force driven by a desire to reshape the galaxy in his own image. In the midst of chaos, as the Galactic Council scrambled to marshal its defenses, the reality of the crisis was undeniable. The invasion was no distant rumor. It was a tangible, encroaching force that threatened not just Earth but the very fabric of interstellar peace. And with every flicker of the emergency lights and every resounding command, Captain Nova prepared to lead her people into the heart of the storm, her spirit a steadfast flame in the gathering darkness. The void of space erupted into chaos as fleets leapt from the silent corridors of the orbital headquarters into the battlefield. Starships, sleek and formidable, sliced through the darkness, their engines blazing trails of brilliant blue light. The celestial canvas, once a serene tapestry of distant suns and nebulae, now roared with the violent hues of energy beams and exploding star cores. Amid this cosmic ballet of fire and metal, Captain Arya Nova orchestrated a symphony of war, her mind a nexus of calculated strategy and raw, unyielding resolve. From the command deck, Nova's eyes darted over a sprawling array of holographic battle maps. Fleets danced in formation, their trajectories choreographed like the movements of a grand interstellar waltz. With a swift gesture, she rerouted squadrons, directing them to intercept an enemy flank that threatened to envelop Earth's defensive perimeter. "Alpha Wing, adjust your vector to intercept Quadrant 4. Her voice, both commanding and urgent, reverberated through the intercoms, blending seamlessly with the steady thrum of the station's systems. Every decision was a brushstroke painting the fate of a civilization. Every maneuver, a gambit against an adversary whose ambition knew no bounds. Outside in the vast darkness, beams of searing light clashed like titanic forces. The Xerian Armada, led by the cold precision of General Vrax's relentless strategy, unleashed a barrage of energy pulses that tore through the void. Explosions blossomed like supernova, scattering shards of star metal across the battlefield. As Nova's fleet met the enemy head-on, her ship spun and twisted in a delicate dance of evasion and counterattack. The synchronized ballet of evasive maneuvers, rapid-fire cannons, and piercing laser volleys transformed the space between galaxies into a war-torn arena, where every spark and fragment carried the weight of countless lives. Within the cockpit of her flagship, Nova's heartbeat echoed in time with the rhythmic pulsing of the ship's engines. The tactile feedback of the control panel, smooth, responsive, and imbued with the subtle hum of advanced technology, grounded her in the present moment. She could almost taste the tension in the recycled air, as she issued orders with clarity and precision. Around her, officers monitored the unfolding chaos with steely determination, their eyes reflecting both fear and fierce resolve. In hushed exchanges over secure channels, tactical data and personal anecdotes intertwined, a testament to the human spirit enduring amidst the cold, mechanized fury of battle. In a parallel narrative of calculated aggression, a Jerian lieutenant piloted his vessel through the chaos, his perspective as sharp and singular as the laser beams slicing through space. Every maneuver was a calculated risk, each burst of energy designed to destabilize the enemy formation. Amid the din of battle, he too felt the pull of destiny, the weight of following orders from a commander who brooked no failure, a man whose ambition was as vast as the galaxy itself. Yet, in the silent moments between the bursts of combat, even he couldn't help but acknowledge the brilliance of the adversary they faced, a leader whose tactical genius threatened to tip the balance of power. As the struggle raged on, the battlefield became a theater of dual perspectives, a relentless duel between innovation and brute force. Nova's tactical brilliance shone in the fluid adaptability of her fleet. She anticipated enemy moves, as if reading the very currents of space, countering every feint with a decisive riposte. Each time an enemy ship appeared on the periphery, her orders wove new patterns of defense and offense, a delicate interplay of risk and reward. In one particularly breathtaking moment, a formation of Nova's fighters intercepted a barrage meant to decimate a critical communications relay. The clash was a mesmerizing display, streaks of iridescent laser light intersecting with explosive flares, as if the very fabric of space was embroidered with threads of conflict. Back on the command deck, the ambient glow of holographic displays shifted in response to every strategic move. Nova's gaze hardened as she saw a breach in the enemy lines, a potential chink in Vrax's seemingly impenetrable armor. With a steely exhale, she ordered a concentrated counterstrike. All units, converge on the enemy flagship formation. Now, the command resounded with a gravity that left no room for hesitation. In that fleeting moment, every second stretched into eternity, and every heartbeat became a countdown toward an uncertain victory or devastating defeat. The cosmic conflict was as much an internal battle as it was an external one. Amid the din of explosions and the clashing of starships, Nova's mind oscillated between the immediate imperatives of war and the quiet, introspective questioning of purpose. Each tactical decision was laden with the personal cost of sacrifice, a reminder that the price of progress was often paid in the currency of lives lost and dreams shattered. Yet, in the midst of the relentless chaos, there remained a spark of hope, a conviction that through the crucible of combat, humanity's spirit could emerge purified and renewed. Across the expanse of the battlefield, the interplay of light and shadow told a tale of resilience and defiance. The stars themselves seemed to weep with luminous brilliance, as the conflict reached a fevered pitch, each explosion a testament to the power of will over fate. And as Captain Aria Nova steered her fleet through the tumultuous maelstrom, her resolve was unyielding. She was the guiding light amidst the cosmic tempest, a beacon in the dark, rallying her people to stand firm against the encroaching void, and to carve out a future amidst the battle for the stars. In the cold expanse of a shattered starfield, where drifting debris whispered of past battles, Captain Aria Nova found herself face to face with the embodiment of her deepest fears, General Vrax. The remnants of a once mighty cruiser formed a grim arena, its jagged metal and fractured glass reflecting the flickering chaos of nearby explosions. Amid the silence between blasts, the two adversaries stood as living contradictions. Nova, resolute yet scarred by loss, and Vrax, a man whose ambition had twisted into a merciless creed. The air around them seemed to shudder with anticipation. Nova's gloved hand rested on the hilt of her plasma blade, its subtle hum a heartbeat against the void. Vrax's eyes, cold and unyielding, scanned her with a mix of contempt and a tragic sort of longing, as if he too remembered a time when honor had not been forsaken in the name of progress. "You've held on to hope for too long, Captain," Vrax intoned, his voice echoing with the gravity of countless battles. "Hope is a luxury in a universe that demands sacrifice. Today you will see that order must be carved from chaos, by any means necessary." Nova's reply was a low, steady cadence that belied the storm within. "Order built on the suffering of innocence is no order at all. I fight not for power or conquest, but for the lives that depend on us to be better than the monsters we face." Her words, sharp as laser fire, cut through the oppressive quiet. For a moment, time seemed to suspend itself. The din of distant combat faded into an almost sacred silence, where memories surged unbidden. Nova recalled the faces of those lost, the quiet promises made beneath starry skies, a promise that every sacrifice was not in vain. In Vrax's unyielding stare, she saw a mirror of a man once driven by a desire to protect, now corrupted by the relentless pursuit of control. "Do you not see?" Vrax pressed, stepping closer, his uniform catching the intermittent glow of burning satellites. "I was once a guardian of peace, but the Council's inaction condemned worlds to decay. I chose power to rewrite our destiny. In your defiance, I find the very emblem of chaos." His tone softened briefly, hinting at a remorse buried under layers of conviction, before hardening once more into resolute finality. Their dialogue spiraled into a dance of ideology and emotion. Nova's heart pounded as she countered with fervor. "Your methods have become your undoing, General. You claim to rewrite destiny, yet you ignore the human cost, a cost measured in lives, in dreams, in the very essence of what makes us whole." The clash was not merely of words, but of souls, each sentence a parry in a duel that would determine the fate of countless worlds. Around them the chaos of battle served as both backdrop and silent witness. The shattered remnants of the cruiser creaked under the strain of residual energy, as if groaning under the weight of history. In that desolate space, the ideological rift between Nova and Vrax expanded into a symbol of a broader galactic schism, a struggle between unyielding ambition and the enduring light of humanity. In a final breathless exchange, Vrax's voice dropped to a near whisper, laden with both regret and defiance. "You cling to ideals that will crumble under the pressure of time. Today, Captain, your hope dies with you if you stand in my way." Nova's eyes flashed with determination as she lifted her blade, every fiber of her being aligned with the belief that even amid ruin, compassion and resilience could forge a new future. As their weapons sparked to life in the dim glow of distant supernovas, the collision of fates became inevitable, a moment where personal vendettas and the destiny of galaxies converged, and the cost of choosing between order and mercy was to be paid in the currency of sacrifice. The silence after the storm of war was as profound as it was unsettling. In the vast, scarred expanse of space, the remnants of shattered starships and drifting debris bore the silent testimony of a fierce battle fought at the edge of existence. Back on Earth, and within the orbital corridors of the Galactic Council's once hallowed halls, the air was thick with the acrid smell of burnt circuits and the bitter tang of loss. Everywhere, the echoes of sacrifice reverberated through hollowed-out cities and dimly lit command centers alike. Captain Arya Nova stood on a fragmented observation deck, her gaze fixed on the planet below, a blue orb now marred by scars and the unyielding remnants of conflict. The cities, once beacons of human ingenuity, were reduced to broken silhouettes against a sky choked with swirling dust and lingering energy residue. The devastation was not just physical, but also deeply emotional, a mirror of the inner turmoil that haunted every soul touched by the battle. In the corridors of the orbital headquarters, Where the hum of technology had given way to the softer murmur of grief, council members huddled in quiet clusters, their eyes, heavy with the weight of responsibility and regret, flickered with memories of lost comrades and ruined futures. Among them, Nova's closest advisors exchanged words in hushed tones, a blend of scientific analysis and emotional farewell, as they navigated the debris of decisions made and lives altered. Nova herself felt every pulse of pain, as if it were etched into her very being. The aftermath of the collision with General Vrax was not only measured in the scars on metallic hulls or the fractured communications of command decks, it was also visible in the haunted silence of those who had seen too much. In a secluded chamber, she retreated to a windowed alcove, where the shattered remains of a once vibrant nebula painted a mournful portrait against the darkness. Here, the whisper of the void reminded her that the universe cared little for individual tragedies, yet within her heart, a fierce commitment to rebuild burned like an unquenchable flame. The damaged infrastructure of the headquarters mirrored the fractured state of the galaxy. Holographic displays, once crisp and commanding, flickered erratically with data that chronicled the scale of the carnage. Each image of crumbling space stations and scorched battlefields told a story of valor, desperation, and an indomitable will to survive. Officers, their faces marked by exhaustion and determination, moved methodically through the ruins, salvaging what remnants they could to piece together plans for a future that might rise from the ashes of the present. In the heart of this somber reconstruction, a series of intimate dialogues unfolded. Nova gathered with her closest lieutenants in a makeshift war room carved from the remaining crystalline panels of the council chamber. Their conversation was a tapestry of raw emotion and strategic recalibration. "We must learn from these ruins," one officer said, his voice trembling with both sorrow and resolve, "for every shattered fragment holds the promise of a new beginning." Another, a seasoned veteran whose eyes had witnessed too many conflicts, added quietly, "This loss, this devastation, it is our crucible. Only by embracing our grief can we forge a future where hope is not the casualty of war." As the dialogue wove through reflections on sacrifice and dreams deferred, Nova allowed herself a moment of private introspection. The cold light of distant stars filtered through the debris-strewn window, casting long shadows that danced like memories across her face. In that silent communion with the cosmos, she revisited the faces of those who had fallen, each a poignant reminder that the cost of peace was measured in human hearts. Yet, even amidst this overwhelming sorrow, there emerged the undeniable seeds of renewal, a shared understanding that from devastation, the greatest of renewals can blossom. Outside, on Earth's surface, survivors emerged from the ruins, with a fragile but persistent hope. In neighborhoods once teeming with life, community leaders and everyday citizens began to rebuild, their hands working in unison to restore not only structures, but the spirit of a people battered by conflict. In makeshift shelters and under the light of repurposed energy grids, the whispered promises of unity and rebirth were shared among strangers. They spoke of a future where the lessons of the past would pave the way for a more compassionate existence, a future where every scar would be a testament to resilience. The interplay of light and shadow that had defined the battlefield now took on a quieter significance. Where brilliant explosions had once illuminated the heavens, gentle, steady lights began to glow in the darkness, signals of recovery and the unyielding will to rebuild. Nova's leadership, though tempered by grief, shone through her careful reassurances and steadfast planning. She addressed the survivors and council members alike, her voice imbued with a soft but unbreakable resolve. "Today, we stand amidst the ashes of what was," she declared, her words both a mourning and a vow. "But from these ashes we will rise. Let each broken piece serve as the foundation for our renewed purpose. Our past does not define us. Our hope and our determination do." In the days that followed, small but significant gestures of renewal emerged. Damaged sections of the orbital headquarters were slowly repaired by teams working with tireless devotion, their efforts a silent pledge to honor the sacrifices of the fallen. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, whispers of new alliances and reconciliations began to ripple through the interstellar community. Former adversaries, recognizing the futility of endless conflict, tentatively reached out with messages of support and cooperation, a tentative prelude to a broader movement for peace. Within the stillness of that rebuild, there was an abiding sense that renewal was more than a physical reconstruction. It was the rekindling of a spirit that had refused to be extinguished. The battle had left scars, both seen and unseen, but it had also sparked a deeper understanding of what it meant to be united against a common darkness. In this crucible of loss and hope, every individual, every voice played a part in the slow, deliberate process of healing. As Captain Aria Nova surveyed the early signs of recovery, the muted colors of a recovering nebula outside the window served as a poignant reminder that beauty often emerges only after destruction. In that moment, she allowed herself a brief, heartfelt smile, a promise to herself and to all those who looked to her for guidance. The journey ahead would be long and fraught with challenges, but the human spirit, resilient and ever adaptable, was determined to reclaim its rightful place among the stars. And so, amid the lingering echoes of battle and the gentle stirrings of rebirth, the seeds of a new era were sown, a future where the lessons of the past would nurture a collective hope, a hope that would, in time, transform ashes into the fertile ground of renewal. In the soft glow of an emerging nebula, the cosmos whispered promises of renewal. The shattered remnants of war were slowly giving way to a fragile tapestry of hope. Captain Aria Nova stood at the helm of the newly restored orbital headquarters, its crystalline corridors now being mended with the combined efforts of diverse allies. Holographic screens, once aglow with the chaos of conflict, now displayed blueprints for rebuilding, a shared vision to restore a fractured galactic order. Outside, Earth's horizon shone with the pale light of dawn, a testament to human resilience. The scars of battle were still visible in the weathered facades of reconstructed cities, and the quiet determination of citizens emerging from the ruins. Nova's gaze drifted over the slowly healing planet, each detail imbued with the promise of rebirth. The vibrant interplay of light and shadow on the surface, where nature and technology intertwined, seemed to echo the journey from devastation to renewal. Within the council chamber, former adversaries now sat side by side, voices merging in tentative dialogue. Long-held grudges and bitter enmities were replaced by earnest discussions on resource sharing, diplomatic accords, and mutual defense. The Galactic Council, once mired in political infighting, had transformed into a crucible for a new era of unity. Nova, a living symbol of hope, addressed the assembly with a calm yet resolute tone that resonated deeply with every soul present. "We have seen the depths of despair," she declared, her voice imbued with the weight of past sacrifices and the light of a brighter future. "But it is in our hands to turn this darkness into a beacon of shared progress." Her words, gentle yet powerful, stirred memories of battles fought and losses endured. In private moments, Nova reflected on the journey that had led her from the turbulent corridors of war to this sanctuary of peace. Every flash of laser fire, every whispered conversation in the heat of conflict, had forged her into a leader defined not by victory alone, but by the compassion and honor that had carried her through the darkest hours. In these reflective interludes, she recalled the silent, soulful exchanges with comrades, and even the grudging respect shared with former foes, a reminder that even the harshest adversaries could sow the seeds of understanding. The once broken networks of communication across the galaxy were gradually knitting together. Former belligerents began sharing technological innovations and rebuilding strategies. Across distant star systems, cultural exchanges and joint scientific endeavors flourished, hinting at a future where the universe was not divided by the scars of old battles, but united by the collective pursuit of peace. Nova's flagship, now repurposed as a mobile diplomatic envoy, sailed across the stars, carrying emissaries of reconciliation to far-flung corners of the galaxy. In the renewed command center, the atmosphere was markedly different from the frenzy of battle. The steady hum of restoration work, the soft cadence of measured conversations, and the deliberate pace of rebuilding efforts created a serene counterpoint to the earlier tumult. Nova walked among her people, her every step resonating with the quiet strength of someone who had borne the weight of immense responsibility. She listened to the hopes and fears of survivors, offering words of encouragement and forging new bonds of trust. Each interaction, whether a brief smile exchanged in the corridor or an in-depth discussion about future plans, reinforced the belief that the human spirit, resilient and indomitable, could heal even the deepest wounds. As the first council meeting in this new era drew to a close, the chamber filled with a sense of possibility. The atmosphere was electric with the promise of change, as if the very fabric of the universe was aligning to support this nascent peace. Nova stood by a panoramic window that overlooked the stars, where distant galaxies sparkled like scattered jewels. In that moment, she felt an overwhelming connection to the vastness of the cosmos, a reminder that every end is merely the prelude to a new beginning. With a final contemplative gaze at the celestial expanse, Captain Arya Nova allowed herself a rare moment of quiet joy. The journey from war to reconciliation was far from over, but the first steps had been taken. In the delicate interplay of light and hope, the galaxy was poised to reinvent itself, a realm where unity, innovation, and empathy could forge a future free from the shadows of the past.